magical, legendary, deadly. These are the most iconic moments in World Cup history. And back in 2010, South Africa became the first African country to host the World Cup. It was epic for them, man. See, the opening match was against Mexico, and the whole world was watching, so they needed to put on a show. But the Mexicans weren't having it. The match looked like it was going to end in a draw, until one man stepped up, and a whole continent went crazy.
Taylor, what's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala!
That was one of the greatest goals in the world. A goal for Africa. And that dance? Hey, get me in the groove, SA. Anyways, the 2010 World Cup was crazy. Africans were running the show. See, Ghana, they almost made it to the semifinals, but one guy did something so crazy, he became the most hated guy in Africa. Ghana were facing Uruguay in the quarterfinals. The game was tense, man. Extra time and it was 1-1. Some guys couldn't even look. Everyone thought it was going to go to penalties, until Ghana had a golden chance.
Cleared on the line, and cleared on the line a second.
And the dream became a nightmare! Damn, man, that's gotta hurt. Luis Suarez got away with one, and it didn't take him too long to return to the spotlight again, because just 4 years later, he bit off more than he could chew. In 2014, Italy met Uruguay in the group stage. Both teams knew if they wanted to qualify, they needed to win. So they were at it, man. The match was tight, and Luis Suarez, he was hungry for goals. But when he couldn't get anything on his plate, he went out searching and grabbed the wrong bone.
Dare I say it, that he's had a little bite at Chiellini.
Surely not again.
What the hell? Dude thinks he's Dracula. The ref didn't see it, and Uruguay won the match. But hey, Suarez ain't all that bad. He's a hero in Uruguay. Not like the next guy, though, because the only goal he scored for his country in the World Cup was deadly. 1994. Colombia came into this one with really high expectations. But you see, they were awful, man. They lost their first match 3-1 to Ecuador. So the next one against the United States was gonna mean everything. Everyone had to up their game. The plan was going great. And then the killer shot. And Colombia were out. Just like that, Andres became public enemy number one. It was tough for him, man. So instead of hooking up with his family in the US, he went back home. And that was the biggest mistake of his life. See, just 5 days after he got home, he and his buddies just wanted to go have a good time. So they hit the nightclub. Around 3 in the morning, his friends had split up, and Andres went back to the car. That's when some dudes came up to him in the parking lot and wanted a word or two, or 6. Before Andres knew what was coming, they shot him. And for every shot, they shouted, "Goal!" just like the commentator did during the match against the US. Tragic, man. You see, back in the day, football was brutal. None of the fancy stuff you see now. The World Cup had wars, like one of the greatest battles of all time, the Battle of Santiago.
The game you're about to see is the most stupid, appalling, disgusting, and disgraceful exhibition of football possibly in the history of the game.
Back in 1962, Chile faced Italy in the World Cup. And these guys must have forgotten they were footballers, man. Because as soon as the ref hit the whistle, it went crazy.
Oh, we're getting a rugby match out of the fight.
Sheesh, that's insane. But trust me, it doesn't even come close to what happened some years later. Because in the Battle of Nuremberg, all hell broke loose. 2006, Portugal versus Netherlands. Everyone was expecting a tough match. A lot of world-class players were on the field. But you see, they had other ideas. And the field turned into a wrestling ring. Nah, these dudes must have had issues, man. They managed to set a new World Cup record. 4 red cards and 16 yellows. That was so ridiculous, even Johan Cruyff was pissed, man. And he must have called them to show him how the game is supposed to be played. Because back in 1974, what he did was so insane, it got him his own signature move. Netherlands were up against Sweden, and Cruyff was tearing teams apart, man. He was unstoppable. Everyone was scared of him and kind of backed off. But one dude thought he was brave enough and decided to get close to Cruyff. And his life was changed forever.
Oh, a beautiful dummy from Cruyff.
The Cruyff turn. The guy's a genius. But Cruyff wasn't the first guy to come up with a legendary move at the World Cup. Because 4 years before, some other dude pulled his off too. And when he did, the crowd went absolutely nuts. In 1970, it was Brazil versus Uruguay in the semifinals of the World Cup. High stakes. Keep it simple out there, boys. But Pele, he was feeling creative, man. So he decided to put the guys on a toast.
He's round the goalkeeper, just let him run on, and he scores! No!
That's how you get your 5-star skill icon on FIFA. He had his own World Cup spotlight and made it count. Not the next guy though, because instead of reaching for the stars like Pele, he skied it, man. 1994, the World Cup final, Italy versus Brazil. The two best teams in football. The match was so tight, even extra time couldn't cut it. And so, for the first time ever, the final was going to be a penalty shootout. And you could feel the fear, man. Both teams missed the first one. But you see, Brazil scored the next 3. So Italy had to match that or the dream was over. They needed a hero, someone they could trust to step up. Come on, man. Reach for the stars, not shoot them down. Man, the Italians were really hurt. They thought Baggio was going to be the next Paolo Rossi. Rossi's story is unique because he won the World Cup when he should have been in prison. Back in 1978, Rossi and a group of guys got sent to prison for match fixing. But Rossi was released early. Still, the Italian Federation didn't think he was all that innocent, so they did the unthinkable. He was their star man, but they banned him for 3 years. People begged for Rossi, and they cut the ban to 2 years. So Rossi made it just in time for the World Cup in 1982. And see, the thing is, he wasn't match fit at all. And at the start of the tournament, he was ass, man. People told the coach to drop him, but the dude believed in him. And in the quarterfinals against Brazil, Rossi made football remember his name forever.
And Rossi is in! Back in from Tardelli!
Amazing, man. And he scored in the final, too. He went from a prison ban to winning the World Cup. Rossi, you're gonna change my life, man. Just like Eusebio. Because what he did was so iconic, it gave him a superhero nickname for life. In the 1966 World Cup, Portugal were making their debut. The team was amazing. And you see, Eusebio was determined to make this tournament special for his country. But in the quarterfinals, everything went wrong, man. North Korea had gone 3-0 up, and Portugal were looking dead. But you see, Eusebio hadn't given up. And when he heard the cries of his teammates, the Black Panther came to the rescue. What an insane comeback, man. 5-3. Eusebio finished the tournament as top scorer and became one of football's greatest. But hey, this World Cup had a lot of drama. And what you're about to see next is the ghost of '66. In the final, England faced West Germany, and it was chaos, man. The match finished 2-2 and went into extra time. See, England were the home team, so the fans kept cheering them on, believing in them. And that's when the moment came that would shock the whole world. Dude, yeah, but you see, Karma's a cute girl, and she's a football fan too. And so when she came back 44 years later, she flipped the switch. In 2010, England versus Germany in the round of 16. Big teams with huge players, man. It was gonna be tough.
Lampard! Brilliant! It was in now! That surely crossed the line!
Karma, you little joker. Revenge for the Germans because they came back to beat England 4-1. Oof. Anyways, the greatest goal in World Cup history that was never scored. What about the greatest World Cup goal that should never have stood? In 1986, Diego Maradona and Argentina were on a mission with 2 main goals. Subscribe to the channel and like the video, just like you should be doing. Yeah, you! And win the World Cup for the first time. But in the quarterfinals, they had it rough, man. They were up against England, but you see, Maradona wasn't going to let anyone get in his way, and he had special help, a divine touch from God. Remember Maradona, the Argentinian handball legend? Dude, that was sick! But Diego wasn't done with England, man. And a few minutes later, he tore the 3 Lions to shreds.
Arranca por la derecha el genio del fútbol mundial. Y es el tercero a tocar para Borruchaga siempre Maradona. Genio, genio, genio,
My eyes, man! Dude had me on the spin for a second. Imagine coming up against that. What a freaking wrecking ball. The hand of God and the goal of the century. Mission accomplished. But anyways, South American teams always turn up the heat at the World Cup. And it's not just the goals, it's the samba too. And in 1994, Bebeto created one of the most iconic FIFA celebrations ever, because he'd just become a dad and was excited, man. So when he scored against the Netherlands, what he did became so infectious, no one could stop doing it.
That's the second goal. The Dutch can't believe it.
But you see, Brazil hasn't always had it that good at the World Cup. Nah, 2014, it should have been their year, man. But some dudes gave them 7 reasons to forget 2014 ever existed. Brazil versus Germany in the semifinals. Brazil were the hosts, man. And although they had key players like Neymar and Thiago Silva missing, everyone expected them to win. It was going to be a showdown. Only the Germans, they'd been cooking up revenge since 2002. And when they finally got their chance,
Brazil are being humiliated, humbled, and taken apart by Germany. It's 7.
that was total destruction.
Eu só queria poder dar alegria ao meu povo. A minha gente que sofre tanto já com inúmeras coisas. Desculpa a todos os brasileiros.
I can't even look, man, that was brutal. But hey, at least it wasn't as bad as the time a guy almost lost his head, or when another dude did drugs on the field. Want to know what I'm talking about? Click this video right here.